Hi there, and welcome back to Season 2 of what is now the 2K to 2K challenge. Yes, indeed, we started off with $2,000 roughly, and it's not doing very well, is it? It's let's have a look. The total account balance now is worth $1,316, which isn't very good, is it? But the problem is lots of cryptos have crashed. Bitcoin took this massive dump, and so did eGold as well. That's now down to $124. So, yeah, that's not quite what we were expecting, is it? However, let's look on the positive side. So we started off with these two farms here. There's an eGold MEX farm and an eGold Ride farm, and originally they were both worth about sort of 900 and nearly $1,000 each, so that made up the $2,000. And the MEX state, that's what we've actually earned. So we've actually earned 310 million, actually nearly 311 million MEX that are in the MEX farm, which today is worth about $77. Now, bearing in mind that eGold is like a quarter of its value at the moment, then what we've actually earned there isn't too bad. What we need is the price of the underlying assets, the eGold, the Ride and the MEX, to go back up. Now, I'm confident they will. I just think it might take a little bit of time. And to be honest, I really do think when people are talking about Bitcoin going down to silly figures like 12,000 and stuff, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the very bottom's going to be 30,000, because that's where Michael Saylor was buying. It's a psychological level. People are just going to step right back in at 30,000 if it goes down there. So I'm anticipating maybe a little dump to 30k and then bouncing back up. It might not go back up in one go, but that's what I'm hoping for, is something like a 30k bottom, which would probably give eGold a bottom of something maybe as low as like 110, 120, but not much lower than that, I wouldn't have thought. But if you kind of imagine that we didn't know anything about the dollar values, what we'd be looking at is now the fact that we've earned all this LK MEX here. So it's time to harvest again, so let's do that anyway. So this one, the eGold MEX farm is at $17.31, and the eGold Ride one is at $16.87. So this seems like a pretty good time to harvest. So let's do that. Harvest all that. And you can see here that the fees are less now, obviously, because the price of eGold is less. So let's confirm that. And let's harvest this one as well. That's still 6 cents. Okay, so that's harvesting all the rewards. Okay, and then we just restake them here. So we select the LK MEX maximum amount and stake. And click next. Okay, that's adding the farm stake. So the point being is this is actually all the profit. This 11,921 LK MEX. So really all we need is the price of eGold to go back to what it was when we started, and everything's going to be looking sweet. It's going to take a little while, I think. I'm not sure how long, but I can honestly see something happening quite soon. I mean, this is one metric that I always think is a good thing to go on, the fear and greed index. And you can find this at alternative.me/crypto /fear and greed index. And generally, when this is below 20, it's a good buying time for crypto. And when this is on 10, it's an amazing buying time for crypto. So it's worth keeping an eye on the fear and greed index. And what happens is, when the market increases, it goes back to sort of, into greed. And when it gets to like extreme greed, that's usually when, the prices are getting really, really high. Everyone's getting really excited and all that. And then you have a big correction. It goes back down to here. And that's what happens. The market just oscillates. It, goes back and forth like that. And that's just how it is, really. I'm still not calling this a bear market. I know people think it is, but honestly, if you look at Bitcoin, for example, and you zoom out to, say, the weekly chart, I mean, it's a real shame that we've dropped below this trend line here that's been in place since September 2020. But even so, generally, it's going up, isn't it? I mean, the general direction is, like that. Now, if this continues to go something like that, then that's a bear market. But to me, this looks more like this area here that we had in the summer of last year. So what I could see happening is something like this. So say, for example, as it came down there, if we copy that pattern there and we kind of, put that there, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for, really. Something where it's going to go, back up here. So it'll probably, it might do something like, it might go up to 53k or something, then pull back again to sort of where we are now and, go up again. But that's the kind of action I'm looking at, And if we look at eGold, then looking at this kind of trend line similar to Bitcoin, I mean, this hasn't broken this yet. So if this bounces here, I think that'll be great. If it does come below, then, that might be bad news. But I don't think it will, to be honest, but we'll have to see. I mean, there's so much fundamentally brilliant about the whole Elrond ecosystem that I really can't see this failing at all. But I don't have a crystal ball, so anything could happen, but I'm not seeing much more downside. So going back to the hourly chart for eGold, what I really want to see is maybe a bounce off this trend line. This was the one I just drew in, the big long one that goes back to the summer of 2020. Getting a bounce here, so possibly a low of 112, 110, something like that, and then a bounce here and then go up again. Yeah, last week someone suggested that I put on the VPVR, the volume profile visible range indicator. I think this is a bit of a useless indicator, really, because I can see what's going on anyway. For example, most of the trading happened around this 246 level. I think we knew that anyway. So the goal is to sort of get above this kind of node here, and then you'd be looking at this level here, 321. But yeah, again, you can see where the all the action is there, and then beyond that, you're probably looking at up here, 416, something like that. But I think these are the levels we're looking for in the future, which are almost like 4 times what it is now. And I think that's all quite realistic. And I think if that happens, then we're going to get back to that 2K very, very quickly, and then go beyond that. And, that's the plan. And then we'll be on to season 3 of the challenge, which will be something a bit more positive. Okay, so if you're feeling positive, give the video a like. If you're not feeling positive, click dislike twice. Actually, don't do that. Just keep it positive. But leave a nice comment. Make sure you subscribe. Tick the notification bell. Make sure it's on all, so you get all the notifications of my new videos. And above all, tell your friends.